Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Have an exciting show on tap this evening, an exciting time of year around Brevard College. It's basketball postseason time. The tournament is here. USA South Conference action begins tomorrow. The women's team will host Greensboro. That's the fourth-seeded Tornadoes versus the fifth-seeded Greensboro Pride. That's at 6 p.m. Tuesday at the Bosch. We're looking to pack the Bosch for that one and support the women's basketball team. Then the men's team is on the road in Raleigh, North Carolina, where they'll face off once again against William Peace. These two teams met over the weekend. They split the regular season series, and they'll be going for round 3 tomorrow. So first-round action for men's and women's basketball beginning tomorrow. We're going to talk both men's and women's basketball throughout the show, including a conversation with head coach Donald Hudson to start the show. And then we'll check in with Coach Lee Burgess as well from Raleigh, North Carolina. We've got some student athletes on tap as well. Spring sports action. Men's lacrosse, they'll be back at it for the Battle of the Blue Ridge. That's right. BC looking to hold on to that trophy for another season. They take on Warren Wilson 7 p.m. Wednesday at Islamel Family Field. Hope to see you there. Women's lacrosse, they'll have their home opener 11 a.m. Saturday at Islamel Family Field against Eastern Mennonite. So come on out for women's lacrosse action to start your Saturday. It's a busy Saturday at Brevard College. Baseball will have a doubleheader beginning at noon on Saturday versus Oberlin. Game 3 of that series, by the way, a special start time, 11 a.m. Sunday. And then softball, the Tornadoes with their home opener versus Wesleyan. A doubleheader starts at 1 o'clock at the BC softball field. We'll be talking some more softball later in the program as well. Women's tennis coming off a big 8-1 win over Johnson & Wales in Charlotte. Congratulations on that season opening win. And Madison Bowen and Hannah Hirsch named USA South Doubles Team of the Week. So a nod for the doubles team and the season opening win over Johnson & Wales. Women's tennis will be in action at Piedmont on Tuesday. Then men's tennis will travel to Piedmont on Thursday. Hayden LeBlanc of the men's tennis team in his performance against Johnson & Wales wins USA South Player of the Week and USA South Rookie of the Week. So congrats to Hayden. And that brings us back to basketball. And we mentioned it's tournament time, and the vibe is one that everyone is anticipating what these two basketball teams are going to do in the USA South Conference tournament. A lot of excitement. Women's game in person here at the Bosch. And we'll get it started with a little video here, thanks to our very own Mitchell Yoder. So some video there to get folks pumped up for the basketball action that begins tomorrow. Women's versus Greensboro, 6 o'clock on Tuesday at the Bosch, and the men's team in Raleigh to take on William Peace. And joined now by the head women's basketball coach, Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, you know, it's that time of year once again, and the campus is ready to see the women's basketball team and the men's team also perform in postseason play. Exciting times.
Absolutely, Phil. And that was one thing that we talked about today as a team. You know, a lot of teams right now, they're not practicing anymore. You know, their season ended this past weekend, you know, and to still be a part of being able to play right now, that's something that we shouldn't take for granted, you know, and it's a really good time of year, Phil. You know, the tournament rolls around, it's one and done, you know, it's survival of the fittest. You win, you move on, you just try to survive and advance. No matter how you get it done, you're just looking to move on to the next round. You know, it's like a new season. Like nothing that happened over the last 2.5, 3 months matters anymore. It's a new season. Like we're going into every game and trying to be prepared and give it our best shot and see if we can move on as deep into the tournament as we can. But very, very exciting times. You know, we're lucky to be in the spot that we're in. I shouldn't say lucky. Like, we've put ourselves in a good spot. We've worked really hard to be in this spot and to be able to move on and play deep into February. And just really excited for the opportunity the group has in front of them. Ready to go watch us play tomorrow.
Outstanding. Yep. Tomorrow, the 4th seeded Tornadoes will host Greensboro, the number 5 seed, 6 p.m. Tuesday at the Bosch. And part of what got us there, Coach, and as far as, the Tornadoes really ending the season on a high note, Senior Day this past weekend, a 93-59 win over Salem, a big performance, by all sorts of contributors on the Tornadoes, but great to have a victory like that. Great to have the Senior Day vibes going as well. And then that catapults you into today's practice and then the game tomorrow versus Greensboro.
Yes. And first off, we wanted to make sure that we send our seniors out the right way on a day that we're celebrating them. That was number one. We want to get this win for our seniors. Last year, we dropped the game on Senior Day. And in the last 8 years, that was the only game that we've lost on Senior Day. So we wanted to make sure that didn't happen again this past weekend. So we wanted to get that one for our seniors. And number two, we needed to get that taste out of our mouth from what had just happened at Pfeiffer. A game where had a really, really good shot to win. I don't know if everybody got a chance to watch it, but we had a kind of a meltdown in the fourth quarter, and end up losing by 1. So we needed to play well. We needed to feel really good about ourselves going into this tournament, going into practice, and going into tomorrow. And we were able to accomplish both of those things. We got our seniors a win, and we also got that taste out of our mouths, played a good brand of basketball, Phil. Everybody that played brought something different to the game. In a game where we had 17 assists. To me, that's one of the big things that stand out when you look at certain box scores. I kind of look at the assists, the turnovers, and the field goal percentage and rebounding. And I think we were solid in all 4 of those categories and played well. Did a good job and got a 34-point victory at home. Amazing crowd. I want to thank everybody that came out and that was a part of that. And it's good for us to win that game, have a good practice today, and be ready for Greensboro tomorrow.
Outstanding, Coach. And you mentioned the practice today. Do things look different when it's the eve of a conference tournament game versus a normal game week?
And I'm pretty sure you can ask different coaches and you'll get different answers. But for me, back when we started in September with our practicing, September into October, we wanted to establish a certain way that we practice every day. You want to practice like you're preparing for a deep postseason run, but you got to do that every day. And in my opinion, if you do that every day through October, November, December, January, February, when you come in here now into a tournament game, you don't have to try to rise to the level of the occasion. You don't have to try to turn it up a notch. You've been doing that since day one, and so it does feel a little different, but hopefully we've done enough all year to prepare us for this moment to where we don't have to go be somebody that we're not. We've done this all year. So hopefully we can go out and do the same things that put us in this situation and have a good game tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure you can ask a few of the coaches and you will get different answers. But for me, as long as you do it every day, when you get to the point where you need it, you have it there to fall back on because your body's used to it. You practice a certain way all year, and you don't have to try to flip a switch. So hopefully we've put ourselves in position where we can do that, and I think we have.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Coach. And then tomorrow, game day, does that routine stay the same? Postseason game versus regular season game.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to do everything like we've done it all year. We're going to eat our pregame meal at 3. We're going to be on the floor when the clock hits 60. We're going to start our warm-up. We're going to go in at 33 minutes. We're going to come out around 19. We'll talk a little bit, then come out. Girls will warm up, and we'll toss it up at 6.
Yeah, 6 o'clock tip-off. Hope to see a big crowd there at the Bosch. Well, the matchup itself, Coach, versus the 5th-seeded Greensboro Pride, it'll be the 3rd meet-in this season. The Tornadoes won both the matchups earlier. The first game was way back on January the 9th here at the Bosch, an 86-45 win. And then the rematch was much closer at Greensboro, 61-50 was that final. Love for you to kind of tell us a little bit about the matchup itself, what Greensboro presents as far as a challenge for the Tornadoes in this critical tournament game.
Yeah, a team that's playing a lot better than that first matchup. Like that first matchup, we really got the best of them here. I think we beat them by almost 40 points, and then we went to their place, and like they've been playing better down the stretch. Their players are pretty young, and the more reps they get, the better they get at it. And they've kind of gotten into a nice little rhythm. I think they've lost their last 2, but before that, I want to say they had won 4 or 5 out of their last 6 or 7. So a team that's playing okay basketball, and when we played them at their place a couple of weeks ago, I think we carried a 7 or 8 point lead at halftime, something like that. And we're in control most of the game, but we had a stretch in the late third and into the fourth quarter where we didn't value the possessions that we had. We turned it over a little bit too much in their zone and fueled some of their offense and missed a few shots, kind of didn't get a good offensive rhythm, but we're able to finish the game and come out with an 11-point victory. Tomorrow, third time playing this team, there's not going to be many secrets, Phil. Both teams are going to know what the other team's doing. It's going to be about winning the 50-50 plays, the rebounding, and taking care of the ball. I think everything else will take care of itself. As long as we're a team that values our possessions and don't give them extra possessions that go into easy transition points, I think we'll be just fine. Like we know what to expect from them. I'm pretty sure they know what to expect from us. We've put a few different things in today to try to counter some of the stuff that they may be expecting from us. But for the most part, Phil, both teams are going to know exactly what everybody's doing. The third time you play a team, and it's going to be about making plays. Go out there, don't turn the ball over, rebound at a high level, defend the basketball, and just give ourselves the best chance to win.
Yeah, and Coach, you mentioned that most recent matchup, 61-50 Tornadoes win the game not that long ago, February the 6th. So just a couple weeks ago, and looking at the individual numbers, Nalia Boyce had that big 25.8 rebound game in that one. Jada Petty Wilkins came up big as well with 11 points, 3 3-pointers, and Christina Roan had a big game, 9 points, 5 steals. 3 players who have really emerged at certain points late here in the season.
Absolutely. They've been all 3 have been good for us, in different ways. They've done different things and brought different things to the table to help the team succeed. That game you talked about, Nalia had 25. I don't think they're going to play her single coverage tomorrow. I think they're going to make her do something else. I think they'll collapse. She'll have to see her kickouts, and we'll have to make plays out of that. But looking forward to watching us play tomorrow. We're prepared for everything that they're going to do. And we'll make our adjustments on the fly for anything that they've put in that we may not be ready for. We'll make our adjustments on the fly, and we'll be just fine.
Tornadoes, the 4th seed, Greensboro, the 5th seed. The winner of the Brevard-Greensboro matchup will advance to the semifinals, which will take place Thursday at the highest seed remaining will host that game. That's a Southern Virginia William Peace game, the 1 versus 8. The other matchups in that first round, Methodist and Meredith, that's the 2-7 game. And NC Wesleyan Pfeiffer, the 3-6, as we get a look at the bracket here, Coach. When you look at this year's field, Coach, as far as this women's basketball group 1 through 8, but also those top few seeds as well. Brevard included in that bunch as a 4 seed and getting the right to host a first round game. What do you notice about this year's tournament, and what can fans expect who are tuning into the USA South Conference women's basketball tournament this year?
I mean, just like any tournament style play or anything, you don't know what to expect. You have some lower seeds that are going into the opposition's place, and sometimes those lower seeds don't have a ton to lose and they just go play really free. And when you're playing a team that's kind of just playing free and starts to make some shots, you could be in a dogfight. So I'm not sure if upsets will happen, Phil, but that's why this time of year is super fun. You don't know what to expect. You think you know who's going to win these games by looking at different things, different stats, and looking at how the year is going, but you really have no idea. That's why it's so fun. That's why it's called March Madness. I mean, it's happening in February for us, but that's why this time of year is called March Madness, because you see these upsets and just different things happen. Buzzer beaters, and teams are prepared for this. Some teams will throw some junk defense at you that you haven't seen all year just because it's one game. Like, you don't really have to be the better team to move on. I just have to go beat you one time. And if I can throw something at you that causes your team to be on their heels a little bit, and we can steal a few possessions with a certain defense or a certain offensive call, that's how you give yourself a chance to move on as the lower seed or as an underdog. But I think it's going to be fun, Phil. It's going to be super exciting. I'm really glad that my team gets to experience this. The only thing that I hope that this conference gets to at some point is that we move to everybody's playing at a central location. That's really fun. We did that when I was a player here. The conference tournament was held at one place, and all teams go to one place. You get to watch teams play, and I don't know if we'll get there, but I would love to see that happen in the USA South.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Coach. Well, the action begins tomorrow, Brevard versus Greensboro at the Bosch. Coach, before we bring in a couple of your student athletes, would love just one more chance here for you to give a message to all the supporters, to NATO Nation, and for all those who have helped you all year long.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. I want to thank everybody that's had anything to do with women's basketball this year, from our fans, our families, our supporters, to the administration, sports information, game day operations. Everything has gone off this year pretty good for us. You know, the crowds have been good and game day operations have been really smooth. So I want to send a huge thank you from myself, the women's basketball program, to everybody that's kind of helped this year be what it has been for us. I want to send a big thank you to Coach AB. She's been really good for me. I appreciate her. She's going to be really good at this. She's going to get a head job one day and be really good at it. I want to thank my team for coming in every day and dealing with me from time to time. I know hear my voice all the time and being so demanding of certain things. You can get tired of hearing that. But I really appreciate my squad coming to work every day. You know, we've had our ups, our downs, and we've had different things that have plagued us at different parts of the year. But the one thing that hasn't changed, Phil, is the way that my team attacks the practice and attacks games. Like, we've played extremely hard all year. And as a coach, that's what you ask for. You know, we've dropped some games and we've won our share of games. But the biggest thing, I think we've been competitive all year. I can't look at many practices or many games and say that we didn't give it our all. Maybe one or two practices throughout the year. But if you practice 60 times a year and 2 of them have been bad, I think you're doing some good things. You know, so for the most part, I want to say thank you to my team, Coach AB, administration, fans, anybody that support women's basketball this past year, and everybody that's kind of helped game day operations be what they have been. We appreciate you all.
Yeah, we appreciate you as well, Coach, along with Coach AB, for providing leadership for this team. And big congrats to the entire Brevard College women's basketball team. Great regular season, but we're not done yet. And that all starts tomorrow. The matchup versus Greensboro USA South Conference tournament. Coach, we're going to bring in a couple of your student athletes now and ask you to hang around just another moment or two, as Alexis Marshall and Cassie Plemons have both entered the conversation. These two were 2 of the 4 seniors honored on Saturday. Coach Hudson, let NATO Nation know what these 2 are all about.
Yeah, fresh out of class, fresh out of practice, and fresh out of class. 2 women that I'm extremely proud of. I've had the chance to coach Cassie for the last 4 years and to coach Alexis for the last 2 years. Cassie's a senior post for us. She came from North Buncombe, the Blackhawks, Asheville, North Carolina. And Alexis is from Crest High School. I think Crest Chargers. I think that's who they are. And both have done everything that I've asked them to do, Phil. You know, Cassie's been the ultimate teammate. She's always ready when her number's called. And anybody that's come to our games, like you hear, she does a really good job of keeping our bench energized and keeping everybody into the game. Ready when her number's called, but a really, really phenomenal teammate, and I appreciate her. Same thing with Alexis. Really good teammate, really good on-ball defender, plays the combo guard for us. We'll play some point at times. We'll play off the ball at times. But both have done nothing but good things since being a part of this program. You know, and I really appreciate them making a decision to come here, sticking it out when things get tough, and look forward to watching them grow over the next few years once they graduate here and seeing what the future holds for them. But number one thing, I want to make sure they understand and know how much I appreciate what they've brought to the program and to me individually over the last few years. I appreciate you, ladies.
Well said, Coach. Best of luck in your continued preparation for the USA South Conference tournament, Coach. We'll see you at the Bosch tomorrow night. Thanks for joining the show.
Appreciate you, Phil. Always fun.
All right, there he goes, Coach Donald Hudson. And Coach Hudson helped us introduce these 2 joining the conversation. Alexis Marshall in that upper right location. How are you, Alexis?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. And Cassie Plemons joining the show as well. How are you, Cassie?
I'm doing good, Phil. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Well, let's start with this. Coach said you guys just came from practice and then to class, and now you're in the Tornado Talk studios. Tell us, what your afternoon's been like. What was the class? How was practice today? Alexis?
Practice went well, and then we had ninjutsu as our class.
Okay. And Cassie, can you tell us a little more about this offering here at Brevard College and, what that's like going from basketball to, is it jiu-jitsu class?
It's ninjutsu. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu, but
okay.
it has ninja in it. And it's really easy to transition from like basketball practice to like that class because they're in the same building, they're in the gym.
Yeah, they're
So
right
it
next
was
door to
easy
each
go
other,
from
right?
one yeah.
You've got the court and the movement room is literally right next door. So it's a short commute for you to get to class, in other words. But tell us a little more about the class, Cassie.
We kind of work on all kinds of like footwork and stuff on like self-defense. And I mean, we kind of were punching each other and kicking each other today, but like not actually with a pad. But it's kind of like just self-defense. It's for physical. It's like a credit for physical education or like just physical credit. But it's really fun to do, especially with your friends, because you get to make fun of each other for everything and anything. So it's really fun.
All right, ninjutsu. You heard it here first. One of the really dynamic offerings here at Brevard College if students want to check that out. Well, Alexis, here we are. It's USA South Conference Championship time. What's sort of the vibe, the energy of the team? What did you notice at practice today? But, just the overall excitement level for the team. What are you feeling?
I feel like everybody's ready to play. We're very excited and energetic, and everybody's just like ready to go. Like we are like excited and ready to play tomorrow.
Cassie, anything to add to that?
Oh, Alexis said it best. I mean, we're all ready to go. We're all super hyped, and like I'm ready to get a dub. So let's get it.
That's right. And that begins that quest for a W. One game at a time here begins tomorrow. BC versus Greensboro, 6:00 at the Bosch. We're trying to pack the Bosch, obviously. How important is that, Alexis, for there to be a big crowd at the game? How much does that help you all as players?
I feel like it just gets everybody into it, into the moment and into the game. I feel like the crowd can really change the momentum of a game, and it can get like us teammates more hype about the game.
And the hype matters, Cassie. I know you agree with that sentiment, but being down there in the middle of it all, just how important is that volume level in the Bosch?
Just like getting the energy going, just like it helps tremendously with like the players on the court because like somebody's there for you, somebody's got your back, and like if you can like hear them volume wise, like I know everybody can hear me, but like if you can hear them, then somebody's got your back, and like you just want to play for them or just like root on for them. So like it just helps with the atmosphere and overall like community sense of like our team.
That's right. So those who are on the fence, whether you're going to come to the Bosch or not tomorrow, get on over there because it makes a difference. It makes a difference as far as the team's performance on the court and so forth. Now, each of you were part of Senior Day on Saturday. It was awesome to get the big win, but there was a ceremony that started the whole deal before the game. Alexis Marshall, Cassie Plemons, China Pouncey, and also McKenna Parkins, part of the senior class. Alexis, now that you're a couple days beyond it, removed from it, do you have a reflection on Senior Day and just how special that was for you?
Senior Day was a really great day for me. I got to think about everything that I've done in the past, basketball-wise, and all my family was there to support me. I had like 20 people there, and I felt the love from my family and my teammates, and it was just a great day, and we got the win, so that made it even better. It was just a really good Senior Day.
And Cassie, what are your impressions of Senior Day? How did it go for you in the gang?
It just made me feel like I was very appreciated throughout my whole 4 years being here, and I just felt the love from everybody, and like it was just really nice to recollect on what I've done the past 4 years and how our women's basketball program has grown from what it was. So I just thought it was really special.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and looking to grow even further tomorrow with that dub that you mentioned, Cassie, versus Greensboro. Well, Cassie, let's stick with you because we're going to be talking softball in just a bit as we'll transition to our next guest in a few minutes. But you're a dual sport athlete, women's basketball and softball. Let us know a little bit how that experience has been for you here at Brevard College, and how do you transition from a sport like basketball to the softball field so quickly and seamlessly?
I'm just a baller. I mean, that's the simplest answer that I can give for that. But another one is just like, it makes it easy when my teammates and my coaches are so understanding of how I can differentiate between going from each sport back and forth. And that just makes it a whole lot easier.
Alexis Marshall, you transferred here to Brevard College at the beginning of last season. Tell us a little bit about your journey as a college student athlete, and then, how has it been here at Brevard, since making that decision?
So I started out at Montreat College, and then I transferred here for my junior and senior year. And ever since I've been here, it's just been like a family environment. Like, everyone on the team has been so like encouraging, and like everyone has shown love, and it's just made my experience here so much better.
Great to hear. Alexis, let's stick with you. What's next? You'll be graduating before we know it. What's the diploma going to be in? And have you thought beyond that as far as, any future plans?
So my major's in health science, and as of now, I'm working as a CNA. But then I plan to go to an accelerated nursing school in January.
Outstanding stuff. Cassie Plemons, let us know what your diploma will be in, and any future plans for yourself.
So my diploma's in math and applied physics. I know, disgusting. Everyone hates it, but it is what it is. I love math and physics. But I want to be a high school math teacher, so I'll actually be coming back from not like playing, but I'll be student teaching this fall. And then after that, hopefully I'll get a teaching job at some high school.
All right. Last one on sort of the senior theme. One question you often hear when you're talking to seniors is, do you have a favorite moment from your time with the Brevard College women's basketball team? Is there something you can share? Alexis?
Honestly, my favorite moment is just getting to know all of my teammates and building a connection with every single one of them. They have truly became like my sisters. We always say sisterhood, and that really is a thing. Like, they are my sisters, and they show love, and they're supportive and encouraging. And that's probably one of my best moments being an athlete here at Brevard.
Cassie, a favorite moment or memory?
I would have to just say this year in general, because I've built my relationships with my teammates so heavily this year, and I've gotten to know each and every one of them so much more and better. And I just love all of them. I know Alexis said sisters, but I like to call them my brothers because, brotherhood. But yeah, I just love each and every one of them. And this year has been really great.
Very good. Well, congrats to you both on an outstanding career here at Brevard College, but also an outstanding season that sets you up for this big opportunity that begins tomorrow, USA South Conference Championship Tournament. We hope to get a big crowd out there to pack the Bosch. But before we let you go, the opportunity for shout outs or thank yous. Alexis Marshall.
Number one, shout out, thank you to the Lord, and for him letting me be able to play the sport. And then I thank my coaches and my teammates and all my family that's been supportive.
Cassie, shout outs?
I'd like to first and foremost thank the Lord, of course. And then I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my brother for always being there for me. Caitlin Light, my bestie, she's been there through the thick and the thin, mostly the thick, but she's chilling. My boyfriend, Nathan, love him to death. I don't know how he puts up with me, but he does. And I love all my teammates, basketball and softball, brothers for life. I love you guys. Go NATOs.
Yes, the mic drop from Cassie Plemons on the shout outs segment. Appreciate you both. Can't wait to see the Tornadoes and yourselves in action tomorrow. Brevard versus Greensboro. We're going to pack the Bosch for you. 6:00 start time on Tuesday. Alexis Marshall, Cassie Plemons, 2 members of the senior class. Congratulations. Thanks for joining the show this evening.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. We're going to quickly transition here. We were talking to Cassie Plemons, a dual sports student athlete. Well, serendipitous here. We have the softball coaches to follow Cassie in the women's basketball team. Coach Shearin, head coach. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having us, Phil.
And also Assistant Coach Taylor Hannah back on the program. How are you, Coach Hannah?
I'm good, Phil. How are you?
Doing great. Well, Coach Shearin, let's start with you. The season finally began. You know, there's the fall season and the practice, and then there's the preseason and so forth. You know, the players scrimmaging against each other, working out against each other. But finally, you know, we begin in earnest a road trip against a couple of challenging clubs in Georgia. Did get one win against Asst, but Coach, would love for you to kind of let our audience know how the weekend went and just how it feels for the team to get off the ground now.
Yeah, so we kind of talked all week about what was ahead, but it's really hard when, you know, your team is really young. We can tell them all day long, and the upperclassmen can tell them all day long what games are like until they experience it. It's kind of like trying to reach for a goal you can't see. So it's definitely finally relieving to kind of get past that. They had so much fun this weekend. It was probably the best weekend I've definitely had in 7 years of coaching, as far as just like the camaraderie on the team, how they dealt with like the adversity in front of us. They fought back. They did not give up at all. And just complete transparency. We didn't have the best week at practice, and they know that. And so we were a little bit nervous going into it. The players were nervous. We were nervous, and they showed up, and it went extremely well. I couldn't have asked for anything better, honestly.
Great to hear. It included an 8-3 win over Asst, game 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday. Coach Hannah, what were some of your observations from the weekend and in terms of getting the season started with this year's club?
Yeah, like Coach Bree said, we didn't have the best week, so we were a little antsy going into the weekend, but once we got there, the energy was high. The girls were really feeling it. They kind of brought some energy that we hadn't seen all week at practice, and they really showed out. Our pitching staff had a really good day. Abby Delp, she's a junior, showed up big for us in that game 2 win. Hit her spots really well. Defense played phenomenally, but one big thing for us this year was our bats came to life. Coach Bree and I talked with Coach Emily, and I think since Coach Bree's been here, this may be our strongest hitting lineup that we have right now, and they're putting some really good swings on the ball early in the year. So we're excited to see how they continue and how they grow.
Exciting stuff. And then this weekend, we get the home opener as the Tornadoes will face off against Wesleyan. Doubleheader begins at 1 o'clock at the BC softball field. Coach Shearin, you know, I'm sure the team's excited to play in front of the home crowd, but, you know, what does this week look like from your perspective? And obviously, you know, the home opener versus Wesleyan coming on Saturday.
Yeah, so we talked to them a little bit after our Middle Georgia games about the weekend and how excited we were for it, because they were amped up for the big plays and they really had each other's backs all weekend. And we were like, what you feel right now, times that by 10, and that's how it feels to play at home in front of NATO Nation. And just having all the other teams support you and your family there, and they get to see how hard you've been working all year. And a huge shout out to Andrew, because he got us ready. We had some key injuries early in the week that kind of shifted our momentum for practice, and he got us back on the field as quickly as possible. So the players were in and out seeing him. So they're going to do that again this week going forward, get some rehab in after a long weekend, and then just hit the ground running. We're going to hit a lot. We kind of switched our mentality this year as a team, and we're just going to keep hitting and hitting and hitting until we can't anymore. They got 250 swings in on their own last week, so they're going to do that again on top of practice and school and rehab and workouts with Coach Taylor and everything. So this week's going to be a tough one, but at least we get to play at home. They can sleep in their own beds, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, you know, the hard work, I'm sure will pay off. No doubt about that. And Coach Hannah, you know, you were a player here. You're an alumna of Brevard College, and you remember what it was like to play in front of that home crowd. And now you're probably trying to instill that opportunity and what that means to, you know, especially the newcomers on the team. You know, what do you have to say as far as the opportunity playing in front of the home crowd?
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Playing behind NATO Nation makes a huge difference. Having our football team line, our outfield fence, having the baseball team when they're not playing, come down there and hoop and holler. It makes a huge difference. Also, just getting the chance to play in front of our phenomenal admin who put on our games for us and get to just kind of show all the hard work that we're putting in. We get to show our families what we've been doing throughout the week, all throughout the fall, all the phone calls that the girls call home and they're upset and they're tired. They finally get to see why they're tired and then get to see the results, which is exciting.
Well, it's a great product. I couldn't recommend it higher. Come on out on Saturday, BC versus Wesleyan, a 1:00 start for the doubleheader. Well, Coach Shearin, for those who haven't had the chance to see the club, whether they came out to a practice or an exhibition or something like that, or maybe tuned into the stream this weekend, what about this year's club, the 2024 version of the Tornadoes? Can you let our audience know a little bit about the makeup of the team and what are some of the things they can expect?
Yeah, so at one point we had 7 freshmen on the field, which is a total shift for our program. We're normally heavy the other way. And the team that we played in Middle Georgia, they had 8 starting seniors. So we had 7 freshmen up against 8 seniors, and dropping a game 1 to them was not, it wasn't a bad loss. We always tell them there are good losses and bad losses, and we learned a lot this weekend. And so the makeup of our team, they're definitely spunky. Like, they are going to be really rowdy. That's kind of what we're known for anyway, but they love their celebrations when they get on the bases. They were having a really good time with that. Like, you're going to hear a lot of laughing in our dugout this year. And that's a little bit different because in previous years we were loud, but there's a lot more like laughter this year, I think. And that it does good just for the soul of the team, honestly. So that's a really fun thing to, sit at the dugout and just kind of listen to.
Very cool. Coach Hannah, as much as any other sport that I can think of, that sort of energy that comes out of the dugout, it plays a factor as far as, the outcome of the game in a lot of ways. And, not pitch by pitch, you can see the impact that, that spirit from the dugout can create. Love for you to kind of chime in as your experience as both a player and as a coach, some of the things you've witnessed and how that can make such a big difference.
For sure. We always tell our girls, like, the more you talk, the louder you are, the better the play is going to be. And I think that's a big thing for us. The louder we are, the more we're laughing, like Coach Bree says, the better we play. A big thing for our pitchers is knowing that their defense has their back and that the dugout has their back if runners get on, anything like that. Just the louder we are, the better. As a player, I remember every time that I would hear somebody who wasn't Coach Bree, I was like, they have my back, kind of like Cassie was talking about earlier, like knowing your teammates have your back make you want to play for them even more.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and just more incentive for NATO Nation to head on over there and check it out. First opportunity, the home opener as the Tornadoes take on Wesleyan Saturday at 1:00. Well, Coach Shearin, you've got a few years under your belt now here at Brevard College. I know that's meaningful because you start to get your players in, your recruits in, and that kind of thing, and also build the program the way you've envisioned. Can you tell us a little bit about how maybe things are different from that first day where you maybe made that first appearance on Tornado Talk way back when, and today with a few years under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, night and day. Definitely totally different. All good, though. I mean, from the moment I stepped on campus, I knew that this was the place I was going to be for a long time. Brevard's special, and we actually talked about that with some of our freshmen on the bus on the way home. And those are some really key conversations, like just on the bus and bonding experiences and stuff. And we were just kind of talking about how like deep our love is for Brevard. Sometimes I can get lost in translation when you're doing something day in and day out. And for me, that hasn't stopped. I have always appreciated everything that everyone at Brevard does. But as far as the team goes, having so many freshmen and then the seniors that we do have are great leaders in their position. And we have even some juniors that are some leaders too and are really, taking control of that. But our freshman class, we talk to them and they really have a goal of being like welcoming throughout our program for the next 10 years to come, and just really embracing the recruits that we're bringing in, which is massive to the growth of a program. And that is something that I think the program, just not having much stability, couldn't build in previous years. So I think coming up, we're still young. We're still young in the USA South. We're still young in the Division III. And there are some teams that have been in this for so long that, we're up against giants. And I kind of tell them that, give yourself a little bit of grace going into this. And they've done a really, really good job. So I'm very proud of them.
And Coach Hannah, would love to hear from you as far as, sort of your experience arriving here as a student athlete. You transferred into Brevard College. You played under Coach Shearin at your previous stop and so forth. But just how that whole experience has been for you, arriving at Brevard College, closing out your collegiate career, and then now as part of the coaching staff.
Yeah, I'm just like Coach Bree said, I'm super thankful for everything that Brevard offers. We always talk about having such fond memories from our last school, but like nothing compares to being in blue. We love it here. And, going from playing for Coach Bree to coaching for Coach Bree is two different worlds. We always joke that being Coach Bree's assistant isn't easy, but I love it every single day. But yeah, I enjoy being here. It's a good time.
Outstanding. Coach Hannah and Coach Shearin, glad you're able to join us this evening. Can you stick around just a moment or two longer? We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes into the program, 2 student athletes who had a big weekend to get their career in a Tornado uniform started. Jadyn Harlow and Regan Winkler, both on that screen in the lower right location. Coach Hannah, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about these 2.
Oh boy. Regan Winkler is probably one of the funniest kids I've ever met in my life. She says some of the most out-of-pocket stuff at the most out-of-pocket times, and it always makes us laugh. She kind of stepped into a new role for us. She came in as a transfer catcher, and she's going to get some time over at first base for us, but her bat really came to life this week. She had some really phenomenal at-bats, went deep into some counts, and I think she's a sophomore, but she's a big leader for us at the plate, and I'm looking forward to see her grow. And Jadyn Harlow, she may be what we call the new Emily White. She hits the ball a lot harder than Emily, I think. She may kill me for saying that, but I think she had some really competitive at-bats this weekend too. Nonetheless, the 2 home runs that she got every seam on that ball. I think the man and Agnes Scott's still picking the seams out of his backyard. But Jadyn's also a stud at third. She vacuums everything up and just is a big presence on the field for us. So I'm excited to watch both of them grow.
Coach Shearin, tell us about these 2. Let NATO Nation know what these 2 are all about.
Yeah, so Jadyn is a freshman from Virginia. Regan's a transfer sophomore from North Carolina. They're huge in our lineup right now. They both got their first hits as a NATO. Jadyn got her first hit as a college athlete, which is huge. And we had 4 total freshmen that got their first hit. But as far as the 2 of them on the team, you definitely hear them a lot. They're the corners. They talk to each other a lot. They have to communicate. They're big in our lineup, and I'm really excited to see them develop over the next few years.
Outstanding. We can't wait to see them play in front of the home crowd, as well as the entire Brevard College softball team 2024 edition. Coach Shearin, Coach Hannah, thanks for joining the program. See you on Saturday.
Thanks, Phil.
All right. And as they helped us introduce these 2 making their Tornado Talk debut, Regan Winkler and also Jadyn Harlow. Ladies, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having us, Phil. We're so excited.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's start with, I guess I'm just going to throw these out and you both answer them. We want this to be a conversation. And so let's start with this weekend. What did it feel like to finally get the season started? As I mentioned to the coaches, you've got to be getting tired after a while playing against yourself, scrimmaging against yourself, practice after practice after practice. But you finally get to play another team this weekend. What was that like for y'all?
Honestly, I think it was a very big change for sure, like the coaches said. But I think it was very beneficial, and it showed us really, truly where we're all at, especially as a team. But more importantly, like for ourselves, like where we're at, where we need to grow to. But I think it was a good experience.
Yeah, I agree with Regan in that aspect. It is a very big change, changing from playing your team to playing a team that you have to absolutely nothing about. But we all came together very well. I thought we meshed very well. It was overall an amazing experience with an amazing group of girls.
All right, Jadyn, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about these home runs. One in the first game, which was your first home run as a collegiate ball player, and then you follow that up with another one on Sunday. So 2 home runs back-to-back days. Can you tell us a little bit about each home run and kind of how those went down?
A lot of hitting throughout the week helped. I had 2 of the injured reserves come with me down to the field and just work on my swing, getting it right, working at practice, like the team having my back, knowing like on Sunday I was not hitting as well as I was on Saturday, and the team was like, "You got it, you're hitting it, it's gonna fall, you got it," like was constantly uplifting me, and just knowing that they were behind me helped me at the plate and just hit.
Yeah, in Reagan, it's exciting for the entire team, obviously, when someone goes deep like that with a home run. Like, that one on Saturday versus Agnes Scott. Do you remember the reaction of the team and, what it felt like to be teammates of Jadyn as she blasted it over there?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I was on deck, and it's like when you see that happen, it's just like you can't help but feel like you're jumping 20 feet in the air. And I feel like that's how everyone on the team was. It's like, and it's really nice to see, Jadyn as a freshman get her first big home run. I mean, it was a no doubter. It was just it's so fun to be a part of something like that. Everyone gets so excited, everyone's just screaming. It's just so much energy at once.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Reagan, big day in that win over Agnes Scott, 3 for 4 in 3 RBIs. Can you kind of describe your day there and obviously how good it felt to get the W?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, always taking a loss first is a little tough, but I feel like, like we're all saying, the team really is a big role in how we play. I feel like, especially for me, team having your back, you're going to play better. But at the plate, I mean, I just constantly was thinking, you got to get on, you got to move people, we got to score. It's just sort of the team aspect on that too. It's just like, of course, everyone comes out there wanting to win, but it's just like the determination, I feel like, and we all have that, and it showed for sure.
Now, a question for both of you. We talked to the coaches a little bit about this. This will be each of your first experience for a home game at the BC softball field with the home crowd behind you. How excited are each of you for this opportunity to play in front of the home crowd?
Oh man, I'm pumped already. I mean, it's only Monday, and I'm like, I can feel it already. Like, I'm so excited. I mean, we've talked about it. They say, the home crowd is like no other. It's huge. All the vibes are good. I'm pumped, and it's Monday. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Regan. I'm definitely pumped. Playing on it's my first college home game, so it's definitely very interesting to see how it's going to go.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be a fun day out there for all of us in attendance at the BC softball field on Saturday, and can't wait to see the team in action. Regan, tell us a little bit about your journey, your softball journey. When did you start playing? When did it become serious? And then how did it ultimately lead to this collegiate softball and Brevard College?
Right. So, oh Lord, long time ago. I was probably about 6. My dad has always been a really big influence on my life, and always pushing me to be the best I can be. So I was probably about 6 when I probably threw my first softball. Years of travel ball. I went to Jerome High School in Valdez. I had a great coach, great team all 4 years. And then I got into the recruiting process probably around my senior year. It wasn't necessarily too serious, but I mean, as a high school, softball player, everyone wants to go somewhere big and play. My senior year, I think I decided, Scott Triplett over at Caldwell, great guy, great coach, came and talked to me some, and I was like, I'm not ready to give it up yet. So I was like, yeah, I'll come play. Then had a successful first year at Caldwell. But I think my best decision I've made is for sure checking out the NATOs and, just being like, I think this is where I should be. So I gave Coach Bree a text, a call, and I was like, hey, like, I'm ready to come play for you if you are looking for somebody, and now I'm here. So
great stuff. Jadyn, tell us a little bit about your journey, a freshman from Halifax, Virginia.
I started playing softball when I was 6. I first originally started off playing baseball, which I feel like has helped me in softball. And then I played throughout middle school and then throughout high school, and started the recruiting process by like my 12th grade year. I played travel ball, which is actually where I met Coach Bree. And then I was at a travel ball practice driving home, and I just called her and was like, I'm ready to commit. Like, this Brevard is definitely where I want to be. It felt like home on my tour, and I knew that no other place was going to feel like this. I mean, Coach Bree and Coach Taylor, they make it feel like we have moms here. So I don't always have to call my mom and ask her questions. I can call them. I can talk to them about mental health. They're very open. But it definitely felt like home, and I knew that this is where I needed to be.
Your coaches talked a little bit about all the laughter and, in the team chemistry on the first road trip of the year, which is really cool to hear because a lot of you all, are playing together for the very first time this season, and for you to be, gelling that quickly as a group. Tell us a little more, Regan. We'll start with you as far as, what it's like to be a member of this Brevard College softball team.
I can honestly say it's nothing like any team I've ever been a part of up to this point. I mean, each team's different. Everyone has their little connections and all that. But I really, truly feel like, number one, I mean, like, we are probably the funniest team that I've ever been a part of. I mean, everyone's humor, everyone's personality just clashes together so well. I mean, it's great. Like everyone said, I mean, we've connected since day one, I feel like. I mean, we all met our people, we met each other. Like, it's just been an experience, and it's been great. The team chemistry is definitely strong, and I feel like that is what's gonna, put us above a lot of other teams.
Anything to add to that, Jadyn?
We meshed very well. Everybody all has they're all themselves around each other, which helps the chemistry build so that when we're on the field, you don't really have to physically communicate. Like, you can just look. Like, for instance, from this weekend, I was on third and Liv was catching, and there was a runner on third, and we just looked at each other and knew, like, oh, she wants to pick her off. Just that kind of chemistry can change a lot in games, especially when they're close.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Hope fans can make it out on Saturday, Tornadoes versus Wesleyan, the home opener. Before we let you go, tell us a little bit of what you're up to in the classroom. Regan?
Currently I'm pursuing education. My overall, I think right now, dream is, be a kindergarten teacher. I love the kids. I've worked in a daycare for years now. And then, maybe later down the road, hopefully I can coach a high school team. That would be ideal for me. I mean, I really love coaching. I've helped coach my younger sister. But education right now for sure. I mean, I love the whole education process. I love the kids. Like, I'm excited for it.
And certainly a fantastic program here at Brevard College. Jadyn, how about yourself? What are you working on in the classroom?
I'm doing criminal justice for my major and minoring in psychology. I want to be a licensed clinical social worker, but I have seen the fields that the criminal justice degree offers, and I'm really wanting to be like some kind of like officer or investigator in some sort. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Great stuff from each of you. Two very different fields, but certainly big opportunities here in your studies at Brevard College as well. Well, before we let you go, want each of you to take the opportunity. This is a bit of tradition here at Tornado Talk. You may have heard through the grapevine, but you get the chance for thank yous or shout outs. The floor is yours, Regan Winkler.
Of course, big shout out and thank yous to my family for always supporting me, having my back. My little sister, someone who looks up to me. I've got to always do my best for her, especially Dad too. That's another big one. He's pushed me to be the best person I can be, and there's nothing more that I could be grateful for. And then, of course, all my friends and people that I consider family now. It's just like so grateful to have such a good support system behind you always. And, of course, just all the coaches through the years that have pushed me, kept me going.
Well said. Jadyn?
Definitely a thank you to my family supporting me in every aspect of playing any sport. My old travel ball coaches for sure, Mark and Mike, they were definitely very impactful throughout my softball career. And coaches now, my friends and the friends that have become family.
Well done. Well, it's been great to get to know you a little more here on Tornado Talk, ladies. Best of luck this entire season and this weekend on Saturday versus Wesleyan. We'll see you out there at the ballpark. Thanks again for joining the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. Go Nados!
All right, there they go. And we're going to cap off this evening's Tornado Talk. We had the chance to catch up with men's basketball head coach Lee Burgess, who's on the road with the team. They made the trip to Raleigh early today. They had a practice today on the campus of William Peace, and they're preparing for tomorrow's matchup, 7 p.m. in Raleigh men's basketball. Just one more reminder, women's basketball, that's a home game tomorrow in the USA South Conference first round, 6 o'clock versus Greensboro at the Bosch. But we got to talk to Coach Lee Burgess, who was gracious enough to, spend a few minutes with us to catch us up on how things are going in Raleigh as men's basketball prepares for the USA South Conference tournament. And excited now to be joined by head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess, reporting from the road here in Raleigh, North Carolina, the eve of the USA South Conference tournament first round. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the program.
Absolutely. Appreciate your flexibility. Glad to be on.
Yeah, glad we were able to get you on, Coach. Well, first, kind of the here and now, we're speaking to you following practice, in Raleigh, North Carolina. The team made the trip this morning. Can you describe today, Monday, the day before the tournament day, and, how it's been going for the team logistically?
Yeah, the trip has been fine so far. A lot of logistics to work, kind of in really in real time. Not a lot of pre-planning possible, with so many different scenarios that were possible for what the beginning of this tournament was going to look like. I didn't get the hotels confirmed until 10 o'clock this morning on the bus on the way. But hotels got confirmed. We didn't hit any traffic. Pickup lunch was smooth. Practice went well. Got to the hotel, got checked in. Guys are just getting cleaned up a little bit. We'll head to dinner here shortly. So logistically, everything has fallen into place just fine. So it's been good so far.
Great to hear. And you mentioned a practice today. Can you talk a little bit as far as, what you guys were working on today, and perhaps, sort of the vibe of the team that you felt out there?
Yeah, no, I think the guys were excited to be out there. Postseason practices are fun. And not every team gets to experience them. So we're thankful that we're still playing. Guys were excited to be out there. We wanted to sweat a little bit, certainly get a good stretch in and sweat and compete and get after it. We weren't out there real long, made a few minor adjustments. I mean, at this point of the season, you are what you are. You can tinker with some things here and there, and we did. And hopefully we'll be able to tell those things tomorrow. The guys were enthused, guys were engaged, guys were locked in, and I think we'll come out ready to go tomorrow.
Brevard versus William Peace, USA South Conference tournament first round action. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this is a compelling matchup, Coach. Third meeting this year. The two teams just faced each other just a couple days ago, so it's a rematch from Saturday's matchup. But the idea of playing a team for a third time in any given season is always compelling.
It is, and it's interesting. I mean, so each team won by double figures on the road. That's an interesting little nugget that doesn't happen often, I wouldn't think. I don't have any data to back that up, but I would think that to be the case. Each team winning by double figures on the other home floor. I thought William Peace played well against us Saturday. I didn't think we got off to a great start. We were climbing uphill, but we gave ourselves a fighting chance there in the second half. Had it cut down to 5, I believe, and had a really good look, in the post that didn't go down, that would have cut it to a 1-possession game. And, so we gave ourselves a fighting chance, but I felt like we were just pushing a rock uphill most of that game, just trying to kind of claw out of the hole that we were in right from jump. So, credit to William Peace. They played well. They played hard. They definitely executed their game plan. Now it's on us to go fix some things that we need to fix and come out, get off to a better start, and see if we can come away with a win.
Well, we've spoken all season long, Coach, as far as the even nature of the USA South Conference, how there's so many strong clubs this year, how anyone can win on any given night. The winner of the William Peace and Brevard matchup will go on to play number 1, Mary Baldwin. Pfeiffer and NC Wesleyan in the other first-round matchup. Greensboro is the number 2 seed as we take a look at the bracket there. And, Coach, I would just love your thoughts as far as this year's tournament field and just how strong it is 1 through 6.
Yeah, I mean it's a really it's wide open. I mean, not wanting to really project out too far on what's in front of us. But I mean, you look at that other matchup, Pfeiffer North Carolina Wesleyan, the 6-3 game. Pfeiffer handled North Carolina Wesleyan pretty easily at Pfeiffer, and then the game at North Carolina Wesleyan won at the end. It was a 2-point win, I think, for North Carolina Wesleyan. Pfeiffer had the ball and a chance to go up with like 10 seconds left, and I think it was a block shot off the backboard that led to a fast break, and North Carolina Wesleyan laid it in with 2 seconds left or something like that to win by 2. So I mean, that matchup, it can really go either way. And then when you look at what they might face with Greensboro, North Carolina Wesleyan and Greensboro split, Pfeiffer and Greensboro split. I mean, it's wide open. It's wide open. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and see.
Yeah,
how everything comes out.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Coach, and certainly a new season. For all 6 of these teams, you kind of wipe out the regular season and go after it here, and certainly all 6 of the teams capable of coming home with the championship. So it's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch it all unfold. Beginning tomorrow, Brevard at William Peace. Coach, as far as the team schedule from this point forward, you got the practice in, this afternoon. You made it safely to Raleigh. What's on deck from here?
So we'll eat. We'll come back and we'll watch some film tonight around 9:00 and have a film session tonight in the hotel. Get guys in bed. They'll rest. We'll get up in the morning, eat breakfast here at the hotel. We've got a shoot around at 11:00 tomorrow. We'll do that and come back to the hotel and have a couple hours to take a nap if they want, get off their feet. Go get pregame meal, 3:00, and then come back to the hotel. We're either going to Brevard or we're going to Stanton, Virginia. So we'll stay here to tomorrow night, and then hopefully Wednesday morning we're on the bus headed up to Virginia. Jump. So, credit to William Peace. They played well. They played hard. They definitely executed their game plan. Now it's on us to go fix some things that we need to fix and come out, get off to a better start, and see if we can come away with a win.
Well, we've spoken all season long, Coach, as far as the even nature of the USA South Conference, how there's so many strong clubs this year, how anyone can win on any given night. The winner of the William Peace and Brevard matchup will go on to play number 1, Mary Baldwin. Pfeiffer and NC Wesleyan in the other first-round matchup. Greensboro is the number 2 seed as we take a look at the bracket there. And, Coach, I would just love your thoughts as far as this year's tournament field and just how strong it is 1 through 6.
Yeah, I mean it's a really it's wide open. I mean, not wanting to really project out too far on what's in front of us. But I mean, you look at that other matchup, Pfeiffer North Carolina Wesleyan, the 6-3 game. Pfeiffer handled North Carolina Wesleyan pretty easily at Pfeiffer, and then the game at North Carolina Wesleyan won at the end. It was a 2-point win, I think, for North Carolina Wesleyan. Pfeiffer had the ball and a chance to go up with like 10 seconds left, and I think it was a block shot off the backboard that led to a fast break, and North Carolina Wesleyan laid it in with 2 seconds left or something like that to win by 2. So I mean, that matchup, it can really go either way. And then when you look at what they might face with Greensboro, North Carolina Wesleyan and Greensboro split, Pfeiffer and Greensboro split. I mean, it's wide open. It's wide open. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and see.
Yeah.
How everything comes out.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Coach, and certainly a new season. For all 6 of these teams, you kind of wipe out the regular season and go after it here, and certainly all 6 of the teams capable of coming home with the championship. So it's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch it all unfold. Beginning tomorrow, Brevard at William Peace. Coach, as far as the team schedule from this point forward, you got the practice in, this afternoon. You made it safely to Raleigh. What's on deck from here?
So we'll eat. We'll come back and we'll watch some film tonight around 9:00 and have a film session tonight in the hotel. Get guys in bed. They'll rest. We'll get up in the morning, eat breakfast here at the hotel. We've got a shoot around at 11:00 tomorrow. We'll do that and come back to the hotel and have a couple hours to take a nap if they want, get off their feet. Go get pregame meal, 3:00, and then come back to the hotel for a few minutes and then head to the game. We're staying here in Raleigh tomorrow night regardless, because we don't know where we're going. We're either going to Brevard or we're going to Stanton, Virginia. So we'll stay here to tomorrow night, and then hopefully Wednesday morning we're on the bus headed up to Virginia and playing on Thursday. So time will tell that, but we will be here through Tuesday night regardless.
First round of the USA South Conference men's basketball tournament Tuesday, Thursday the semifinals, Saturday the championship game. Highest seed throughout host for those keeping score at home and making your plans and so forth. So continue to keep an eye on usasouth.net, also bctornadoes.com, and we'll keep you updated on all the movement in the tournament as well. Well, Coach, would like to just reflect on this year's team as a whole. In this group of student athletes, tremendous leadership in terms of a veteran presence, a strong senior class who we honored on Saturday, some graduate students as well, and then some youngsters, some younger guys, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, underclassmen who have made great contributions as well. When you think of this year's club, what comes to mind?
Yeah, well, I think that story is still being written, it right now, and so we'll see how things end up. But if you just take the regular seasons of this year and last year, I mean, we've got 4 more wins than we had last year. We've got 3 more wins in league play than we had last year. We're definitely a better team than we were last year. We've had a more successful season than we did last year. Hopefully we're able to go prove that and take another step forward in this tournament relative to last year as well. But the program is continuing to grow. It's continuing an upward trajectory, which has been fun. And definitely proud of the guys in the program that have had a major hand in that. And that's 1 through 17. I mean, we've got a very experienced group this year, but we've counted on some new additions from last year to this year that have definitely contributed as well. And then we'll lose some guys off this team and some of these younger guys that haven't had as much of an opportunity this year. Will be counted on next year to come in and fill some holes and fill some gaps and hopefully continue the trajectory that we're on. So, everybody associated with the program, I believe, can, take pride in where we are as a group. Where this season finishes, again, that story is still being written and it's not over. And we'll write that chapter when that time comes. But regular season to regular season, it's been progress, which has been fun.
Outstanding. Here with Coach Lee Burgess. Coach, before we let you go, do want to give you the opportunity. There's so many hands that take place behind the scenes and, supporters on down the list that makes a tournament run like this possible, that makes a regular season like the one you all just had and qualifying for the USA South Conference possible. Love to give you the floor, to be able to thank your supporters and all that made this a reality this year.
Okay. So how much time do I have? Like, seriously, like how much time do I have to do this?
Well, I mean, can the bus wait for you on the way to dinner? Or
Oh, the bus isn't leaving till I get there, so it can definitely wait. Okay, answers my question. Good. All right, so our admin team at the college is fantastic. Miranda Nash is a high quality athletic director who is constantly looking for ways to improve our situation with the resources she's been given. We all know that we don't have an endless pot of anything we want. And so we all understand that, but Miranda looks to find ways to make our situation better as much as she possibly can, which we're very appreciative of and thankful for. Kristen Rosado with the operations, our operations are always very, very strong. I've got very little to worry about on game day, which is great. And so, when you've got people that are helping make things better and then taking things off your plate, it makes your job a lot easier and a lot better. Phil, the job you and Joseph do is tremendous. The kind of exposure that we get is great. Second to none in the league. Mitch and what he's able to do from a content standpoint has been awesome. And I just don't think there's a lot of programs in the USA South that can boast about all of those things. And so we're thankful for that for sure. Nicole Harshbarger, our athletic trainer, those people work so hard. And so she's on this trip with us. She's going to be gone as long as we're going to be gone. She's been with us everywhere along the way, every step along the way, and has kept our guys as healthy as she possibly can, and has shouldered a load that she hasn't had to in years past. There was a time this year where Miles was sick, and Nicole stepped in and drove the van when we had to go to a game, and did so without any kind of complaining or anything like that. And so we're very, very appreciative of the medical care that we get, and Nicole being around the program. That's been fantastic. And so also I do need to shout out my wife, Dawn. I could not do this with the family that I have if it was not for her. I've got 3 kids, as many of our listeners know, and they're younger, but they're getting older and are involved in a lot of activities that I'm not able to be there for. And she gets them everywhere they need to go, whenever they need to get there. And she misses some stuff that she wishes she could see. She's not able to be at all of our games, which she would definitely want to be there. But she's making sacrifices for our kids, for the betterment of our family. And I would not be able to do it without her. So I definitely want to make sure that she gets publicly recognized for me being able to pour into our program as much as I am is only because she is shouldering so much of the load that she shoulders on the home front. So I'll have to definitely, I think she watches this anyway, but I'll have to definitely give her a little nudge to make sure she watches this episode tonight so she can hear those wonderful things that I don't always say to her face. So Dawn, I appreciate you very much.
Well said, Lee, and I think we even got you out in time for dinner with the team. So appreciate that. And hey, on behalf of all of us at Brevard College and in NATO Nation, congrats on an outstanding regular season. Best of luck in the tournament beginning tomorrow. We'll be watching every step of the way, and all the best to that outstanding group of student athletes that you've provided such great leadership for. Thanks for joining the show, Coach Burgess.
I appreciate all those words, Phil. Thank you very much.
All right, there he goes, Coach Lee Burgess. And that'll wrap up another edition of Tornado Talk. Glad you're able to join us for this one as we previewed the men's and women's basketball USA South Conference tournament. All sorts of action this week across Brevard College Tornado Athletics, including spring sports, which will be in full bloom on Saturday. A busy afternoon at Brevard, women's lacrosse, softball, and baseball to go along with the tournament play of men's and women's basketball. Special thanks to producer Joseph Marvin and also Cassidy Hutto and Emily Denego for helping us behind the scenes. And thank you, NATO Nation, for continuing to follow Brevard College Tornadoes. Be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media as well, and bctornadoes.com, your home for all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Thanks for joining us this evening for Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!